Okay, let's get organized here. I'm just going to take a minute because we are live. I am having trouble accessing the, let me just go here and see what's going on here while we get some people on board. Hi, Noelle. Thanks for Noelle. Noelle is here. She's going to be doing her thing. Oh, we've got 23 people. I tried to get this on I did an upload. Hello, everybody. Nancy, Melissa, Valerie, hello. I did a upgrade last night. You know how the computers are. And now I don't have access to the camera. So we're gonna have to do this all on the iPhone, so I apologize. So welcome everybody. I will show you the cards. We're gonna be together as long as you like. There's about 61 of us here. I imagine the numbers are gonna get bigger. But we didn't get to everything last time. We can never get to all the questions. And it is what it is. But we do our best. So welcome everybody. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I don't know if everybody is, hi Robin. I don't know if everybody's been able to keep track of everything that's going on, but wow. Yeesh. Train wreck, right? I would encourage everybody to go back and look at the video that we did called What Putin Wants. I don't know if everybody's had a chance to see that remote. I believe we did the remote in January, so we're now in October. Does everybody remember that remote? I really think it's I put a lot of effort into that one. I think it's really worth your while to go ahead and check it out. But basically it talked about the fact that blockades and attacks by Saudi Arabian-backed Chechnyan fighters, sanctions, etc. It talked a lot about the economic hit that Putin and Russia had taken and how that actually escalated problems with crime, because crime was the only way that crime was basically the only way that they could make money. And so what happened was they started investing in cryptocurrency in the black market. So that's basically that money was then was put into Deutsche Bank and other banks, and then was used to bribe people of interest who then set up shop in countries that they were interested in. And the strategic interest was in getting to break the alliance between the United States and Turkey because of its strategic significance. So we talked a lot about that. What was interesting about the Putin remote was that he said that by the time you realize what I'm up to, it'll already be too late. That sounds kind of ominous. I think this is a situation that, I try not to demonize anybody, but as a remote viewer, my job is simply to objectively look at energy and follow energy and report what I see. And it looked like we were redrawing the map. We were redrawing how trade is done, because America had gone bankrupt trying to maintain all these blockades. So I think we've lost ground. I think we pulled back. I think that Russia is going to develop an alliance. It's going to strengthen its alliance with Turkey, Assad's Syria. Not that they like Assad, but that they felt that Assad offered more stability than, say, ISIS or some other group. So we have Iran and Syria, both allies of Russia, right? And now they have installed a pro-Russian Erdogan government in Turkey. So now we have an axis developing where it's going to be Turkey, Syria, and Iran. And we have hundreds of thousands of Russians who moved to Israel, right? The people who left the former Soviet Union, the refuseniks, people who were in security, But we also had people that basically criminals, they opened up the prisons and said, sure, you can go move to Israel. And so we wound up with a lot of black market activity and crime problems as well in Israel. I'm Israeli American. So I remember when that huge influx came in. I was there in the 80s and 90s when this influx started to happen. So we have a strong Russian presence in Israel, which is also an ally of the United States. So what seems to be happening is that Russia is trying to broker a deal with trade and with selling his oil, selling his trade and getting it out, that would involve Israel, Syria, Turkey, Iran, Russia, etc., and possibly now going into Iraq and Yemen. So everybody gets that? So then what happened was through Yemen, they bombed Saudi Arabia, attempting to put out their oil production. And they're going to continue to push through. So the routes, we've talked about this, that Putin is interested in is pushing into parts of Africa where they're building new trade routes along with China. And that the hostilities with the United States escalated after the bombing of Libya. We know about that because Putin was trying to get he was trying to build the infrastructure from Libya into Africa, which we bombed. We've already talked about that. But we also started to see attempts to, Russia was trying to get into Ukraine. There's an investigation on that, and wants us to pull out of Afghanistan so that they can reopen the trade routes they had with Pakistan and China via Afghanistan. All right, so that's what's really going on. That was what came up in the remote on what Putin wanted. That's just a brief summary. Now, is this good or is this bad? Hi, Eunice. Hi, Betsy. It's up to you and me and the rest of the world to decide whether this is good or bad. If it means that the U.S. troops will pull back and less lives will be lost, and we will have an international community agree on maintaining healthy roads and a healthy infrastructure that can be monitored by the whole, by everybody, and America can begin to pull back and reinvest in their infrastructure, etc., then theoretically it might actually be a good arrangement. But I think that, that's where we're sitting at this point. All right, so a lot of people had questions, so today we're going to go ahead and do a blitz, but that's the summary of how it looks to me as a remote viewer based on the remotes I did last year. And I don't know, how do y'all feel about that? Do you think we got it right? Did we get it wrong? Did I miss something? Was there an error somewhere? If I did get something wrong as the remote viewer, what was it? Was there bias involved? Those are the kinds of things that, just so that I can get better at what I do, basically. All right, so somebody had asked if we could look at Stephen Miller. The Kurds have gone under the protection of Assad. And so if they broker a peace deal between Assad, Israel, the United States, Russia, Iran, etc., then theoretically the long-term goal would be to create some kind of stability and peace between Turkey and the Kurds. If the international community could be involved in that, then theoretically it might actually go well for everybody. The problem is that they literally plowed through to take that road that we were blocking. So that's basically how it looks to me. All right, so people want to look at Stephen Miller. They wanted to look at the Mercers, Koch, and Murdoch. Now, there was some questions that were being asked about Murdoch and why was Barr talking to Murdoch. The remote views I've done about that, I had a vision of FBI persons showing up at the Fox network and questioning executives, and they are under criminal investigation to the point where it's going to result in subpoenas. And that's not because they were covering the news. The problem is that they seem to be coordinating with a presidential campaign. And that's what the actual investigation is on. So Barr, you know, one person showing up, or probably Barr came with a couple of other people, but when the Justice Department shows up at your door, even if you're Rupert Murdoch, it's never a good thing. I don't think it was Barr getting together with Murdoch and planning some nefarious whatever. I think that Barr really was there because of the follow-up, because of this FBI investigation. Okay, so okay, so we already talked about the Kurds. Uh, we can go ahead now and look at Fox and Mercer, Murdoch, etc., because that was the next question. Jared. No, Jared's not being kidnapped. He's not being held hostage in Turkey. Rick Perry, okay, we can do that as well. Wisconsin, I think that that's coming to an end. Sorry, Michelle. Yeah, the empaths aren't doing very well. But if America has all this extra resources, and if we're able to supply green jobs and infrastructure jobs in the coming years because we have downsized the military, then theoretically a disaster could turn into something positive. That's what people are hoping for. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do a simple prayer. We'll do a general reading for how the week is going to go with the president, and then we'll go into the specifics. And again, I apologize for the angle. I don't have, for some bizarre reason, I don't have access to my computer right now. I don't have access to the camera. All right, I want to call on white light protection for myself and my viewers as I ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Give us the clarity and the wisdom needed to empower us to make the best decisions for ourselves, for the people we love, for the planet, for humanity, for the animal kingdom. And with that, I say amen. Let's go in. What is going to be the week? What is going to be for the week? I'll link the Putin video to this one so that people can watch it. And then we can go ahead and grade it, basically. All right, so base cards of the matter for this week involve issues of Justice Yehuda, the judge or head of the tribe. So we're going to be seeing more leadership and a return to something from the past. This is also Mueller's card. You can see the Six of Cups is moving in to return to something, a love affair or relationship or a soulmate or a person from the past. I think that we're going to revisit the data collection from Mueller, because that early collection, we're now going to start to see why Alan Weisselberg has immunity. Remember when I had said that we are not going to see the Mueller report and that we cannot see the Mueller report? And the reason why is because the real investigation is hidden, and that even the public Mueller report was heavily redacted, and that Rosenstein was giving private information, which was his job, to Nancy Pelosi, because she is second in line for the presidency. So Rosenstein was cooperating with Mueller. He was following the book, the letter of the law, and we never really got to see the real investigation. Thank you, Wandering Eyes. Thank you for the donation. So I think that Mueller's ghost is coming back from investigations past. And I think we're going to be starting to see more of what Mueller was up to. Specifically, he really didn't, if you follow the pieces, he really did not need to get any additional tax information, because he already had the books from Alan Weisselberg. So he's had that for over a year. So that's the first thing. So he's coming back. Also, we're going to see more about how various different persons were illegally aiding and abetting getting Trump elected, and that includes also access to the vault, which Murdoch also got access to that via Pecker and the National Enquirer. So those two issues come up a lot. I get hard hits on both of those because he followed the money, and the money was coming from dark money, and it was being distributed via other. So the money was coming from, it was being hidden through shell companies, but also there was money coming in via Pecker, the money to pay off certain people, and they followed that money stream because they knew they could, and from there they found other money streams. So that's basically Mueller coming back to haunt this administration. This is a card that keeps coming up for the week and for this investigation. You can see again the Eight of Pentacles. The Master is at his work. Pick slowly. He refuses to be distracted. There's a lesson here that we get from this type of investigation from Robert Mueller and from the intelligence agencies, and that is that it's easy to be distracted. It's easy when people are picking on you and trying to get your attention for you to be distracted, but the lesson here of the Eight of Pentacles is that nothing distracts him. Nothing distracts him. He stays on his work, he collects data, and he focuses on what he's supposed to be doing. And this investigation is plowing forward, and let's see what crosses it. Strife, unhappiness, insomnia, waking up at night, panic attacks, migraine headache, pains in the head, sleep disturbances, horrors. This investigation does not bode well for somebody else. Walking away from a battle that cannot be won is in the 4th house, and then what sits in the 3rd house is 6 of Wands. I think we're going to see most of the major aspects of this investigation wrapped up within 6 months. Something about business. Yeah, this is the investigation. So the investigation is going to continue vigorously. People are going to start coming back from the past, like Mueller. We're going to start seeing some of those investigations and subpoenas and documents from a year and a half ago. We're going to start seeing what that was about. We're going to start seeing how money was moved from one place to another. We're going to start seeing the second aspect that we talked about last week, where the first was that the military alerted that something was wrong. State Department also has come in. Now we're starting to follow how this administration was moving money around. There's a peacekeeping envoys. There are peacekeeping envoys and military persons that are on the ground that are going to be speaking with generals. There's going to be some kind of an audit taking place regarding troop pullout in the Middle East. Somebody I know, not too well, but somebody I know who's actually was based there and was part of the pullback said that America had been planning to pull back for a couple of years now. So that this was not totally unexpected. It was really more that people criticized the way they went about it. The Justice Department coming in again very strong this week, so expect more revelations, karma coming back, the police coming back. They're losing the fight to defend the president because basically the feds seem to have all the documents. They have all the documents, and the intelligence agencies have all the documents, and they have pretty much the investigation is yeah. All right, so more of the same, basically. I think that's the question about the Turkey Wi-Fi network does not appear to be connected to the internet. Do you want to temporarily keep trying Wi-Fi? Okay. Are we still on? Because it said that I lost my internet connection. Okay. So, okay, I'm getting a lot of questions. Let's go ahead and we're going to look now at, there was a lot of questions here. Let's look at Jared, all right, everybody, because Jared Kushner did not, I don't see him kidnapped in Turkey. What is going on with Jared? What is going on with Jared? Jared and Ivanka. Great. Jared is next. I'll figure out the internet one of these days. All right. It's weird when you remote view it. It's not quite as, it is really kind of a practical solution that everybody sits down and works this stuff out, because nobody wants a war, and America was bankrupted by these wars. And yes, Emma, you can just write me. All right, let's go in. Jared's, I think his time in the White House is coming to an end. Jared, you can see the karma card is here, and also the 9 of Swords, which is stress. We've talked about the 9 of Swords, migraine, stress, trouble at night, etc. Doesn't know what he wants to do right now. I think he's going back into the international business community, trying to do international trade. He might go into real estate. I think he'll still be working with international real estate. And I think there is a political aspect to it with Jared, in the sense that he seems to want to have good relationships with certain countries, but I see him staying in I think he's going to stay in real estate. The police and investigation is right over Jared. You can see the Knight of Swords over him. He's negotiating a deal. This is his 4th house. Third house. I think this is somebody that's going to try and save his family. This is something that came up in the past when I did remote views with with Jared. His family and his children come first. There's, you know, every time I go into this and I see the fighting or the stress in his family, he always keeps talking about his children are not going to grow up with a father in jail. I mean, like, there's this real need to save the marriage, save the family. The family comes first. He's pulling back and he's prioritizing saving and preserving his family and his family values. He's already rejected an offer from the past, and that had to do, he refused an offer in the past. It seems to be an offer that he was asked to basically deliver certain dirt on his father-in-law. He's leaving. I think he's leaving DC. This is something also that came up, that the beginning of the end, we will start to see the Kushners leaving. There's international travel, there's international business, there's international real estate with him, but I also see him leaving DC. The sun is coming out for him. Could be more information coming out. Yeah, Ta-or. So he's got a sun card in his 7th house and a high priestess in his 8th. That looks like stuff coming out, right? The truth coming out, the sun coming out, his hope and his fear, legal action, the ethos, right? The Constitution, and the final outcome for him, the Magician card. He has the money and resources to work out a pretty good deal. If he goes to jail, probably under 2 years. I think probably, I've always gotten about 18 months. You know, I think he will work out a deal. He's turned down other deals in the past. Yeah, the final outcome, some kind of an offer. He's going to get a better offer than he should get. Okay, so that's what I see. Trying to read this and do this at the same time. Okay, 18 months for treason. I don't think he's going to get treason, and I think that he's refused to cooperate, giving dirt on his father-in-law, and I think that he's going to be able to negotiate something where he doesn't agree to certain things. He's going to get a sweet deal. I'm sorry to say that's what it looks like. Just because the outcome is healing and an offer, and he came as the magician. He's somebody who has a lot of power to negotiate a pretty good deal. Okay, let's go ahead and look at Ivanka now. I just want to check her cards out because she was the one that seemed to be the most vulnerable because her signature was on stuff. Remember we did a remote a couple of months ago where Jared and Ivanka were fighting because he found out that she had done something. It seems that, and she hadn't told him about it, it appears that it involved some kind of illegal activity that she has her signature on. And that those signatures were found when we did the remote view. Her signature was found on documents for illegal real estate deals and possibly money laundering. Those documents were found at Cohen's offices. Her signature, Don Jr.'s signature, was all over everything. And so the father isn't going to be held responsible. They're going to be held responsible. All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll look at Ivanka, and then we'll look at Don Jr. What is going to be with Ivanka? I didn't know is not going to get her out of trouble. She should have known. Can you imagine? What a nightmare. Was a fool. She feels like she was a fool. And again, we see the same thing as Jared had, 9 of Swords. Trump, Jared, and Ivanka all pulled the 9 of Swords. But look at that Fool card. Where she's at right now, she gets her wish regarding hanging it up. She wants out of DC. The ethos is in the 4th house. Honestly, to be honest with you, her and Jared have changed their priorities, and it's all about retreating, focusing on the family. What do they have to do to keep their family together? What's the bare minimum that they have to give the feds? Sitting in the 3rd house, the father's card, and the Hierophant in the 4th house. So there's a conflict between her loyalties to her father, who put her in this situation, and the higher self, or the higher ethos, and also protecting herself and her family. Near future, she's rejecting an offer regarding in the past that has to do with the authorities or the police. She wants to give, just like Jared, it's the same cards, give the bare minimum of what she has to in order to avoid jail time. The star is there. This feeling that they are going to be able to get themselves out of it. This is her card, by the way. I think she's an air sign female. Hopes and fears that they follow the money trail. And then the final outcome is she's going to have to hand everything over to the feds in an agreement for a lesser sentence. That's what it looks like. 10 of Wands moving in. So what may happen is that they're going to start subpoenaing, if they haven't already, documents from Ivanka because of what they found at Cohen's offices. Dang, this is turning out like a soap opera. And she's going to have to be 100% transparent, and in exchange for 100% transparency, she may be able to avoid some things. She's a Scorpio. Oh, she came as an air sign. Yeah. There's also a possibility that the Trump organization is going to be heavily fined. There could be heavy financial fines. Okay, she's a Scorpio. Thank you. All right, so that's what's going on with Jared and Ivanka. They're pulling back. They're focusing on their family. They will give the bare minimum of what they need to give in order to avoid helping with this investigation. At the same time, they're going to agree to cooperate to hand over certain documents in exchange for a lesser sentence. And there could be heavy fines placed on the Trump administration because there looks like there's some money that's they're going to have to pay. Okay, Rick Perry. What are we looking at Rick Perry for? Rex Tillerson. I can do Rick Tillerson if you guys want. Rex Tillerson. He said he already gave his affidavit. So Tillerson already privately gave an affidavit. He may be called in to testify later, but he's already spoken to Mueller. He's already spoken to the feds. That's what I'm getting on Tillerson. Okay, we'll do Rick Perry. Their cards aren't good, are they? Let me stop and read these for a second. Yeah, Rick Perry is one of the three amigos. Thank you. Okay, thank you. All right, let's see what's going to happen to Rick Perry. Oh, this isn't good. This is not good. Oh, it's just not good. We should look at Pompeo too, shouldn't we? So they were going to, I think that they were going to dump it all on Perry. So Perry was going to have to take the fall to some extent. There's a scholarship coming in, or the Hierophant coming in, and the Ten of Cups. Those are the bases. So this is somebody who could be scrambling to make a deal. He's walking away from this administration. He's walking away from the situation. You can see the Eight of Cups moving in and the Tower. He's in very serious trouble, and they're going to blame him for a lot of this. This is the fall guy. That was the energy. When I went into the remote, when I went into the energy of Perry, I felt like, yeah, it's Perry's fault. It's he did this. He's not family. They're following money. There's an investigation into he was foolish. He signed document. It's the same thing. Foolish decisions, possible financial costs. The Tower is right over him. They're going to throw him to the wolves, hanging it up. He's already left. Does anybody know if this guy is still working for these people? Like, is he still working there? I can't keep up with the news, but look at this. Look at this. He's leaving a crash and already decided to hang it up. Does anybody know if he's still... Oh, he's fleeing. The thief attempts to flee with the bag of money. This is his 6th house, the thief's card. with pentacles or messages, ground messages or money questions. Yeah, the money. He's being ordered to testify. His final outcome is the Ten of Swords. He can't answer the questions. He's going to be up against the wall and he will have no answer. He's in a lot of trouble. His hope and his fear, the retaliation. Here's the problem with Perry. Look at this. This is his clarification. This is the final outcome for Perry. And this is where he's at. Worst cards I've seen today. He's expendable. They think he's a nobody. They think Perry's nobody. They think he's not important. They think he can be the fall guy. They're going to dump it on him. He did it. Throw him to the wolves. That's what Perry's energy looks like. All right, Giuliani. Secretary of Energy. Yeah, he's finished. Horrible cards. Worst cards I've seen in a very long time. And I don't know if there are other readers here, but have any of the other readers seen a worse card chart? Okay, what are we doing now? We're doing Pompeo and Pence. Okay, let me just write this down. Pompeo and Pence. Okay, let's look at Pompeo. What's going to be with Pompeo? What's going to be with Pompeo? I have a real hard time seeing Barr. I don't know. He tells me to mind my own business. Pompeo. It's as if all these people feel like they were victims of a con artist. It's like they feel like they were seduced or hypnotized, or they don't even know why they did what they did. It's like the guy is an NLP master or something, because you go into Pompeo's energy and Pompeo is just like a stammering, confused, gaslit, like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. The money, Mueller, justice, confusion, doesn't know what to do right now. Pompeo is about to make a deal. He's got a Two of Cups moving in, an offer for a Wheel of Fortune is moving in. His time there is running out. You can see the third house. The third house is the Death card, and the fourth house is Karma. Devastated in the near future. So because he's devastated in the near future, I would say that Pompeo is probably out. Here's where he's at right now. This is the seventh house. This is his sixth house near future. And it's joining with the fourth house, Karma. He's got more horror coming to him, Pompeo. Complete confusion. It's over. His career is over. Pompeo's out. Yeah, clarification, seventh house, over. An offer in the eighth house. He has no choice. He's completely gaslit. Cutting it off. Spies. He's out. All right, Giuliani next. That was fun. Oh, I told you guys I was going to do Barr next. I apologize. Let's see if I can get in. You guys know it's hard for me to get into Barr because of how he presents, and I'll go into that a little bit in a second. But okay, let's go ahead. The Blitz. We'll do Barr next. What is going on with Barr? What is going on with Barr? So Barr wants to explain himself. If people want to criticize him, that's fine, but I'm going to go ahead and give his version of events. Base card, there's Mueller's and a new contract with Mueller. So, according to Barr, or what Barr is claiming, we can all agree to disagree. Barr's job was to come in, look at the data, smooth things out because the administration was in chaos. He was supposed to go in and stabilize the situation and negotiate, stop the public crazy of the Mueller investigation, which is very different than stopping the investigation. According to Bill Barr, as I see it in the remote, his job was not to shut down the investigation. He was not trying to shut down the investigation. He was trying to shut down all of the crazy, because the media, in his opinion, this is his, I just am a remote viewer. According to him, and the complaint by the GOP, it had gotten crazy. People, the media was stirring up riots. This is their version. People were coming onto the House and Senate floor screaming under the Kavanaugh. It had never happened before, and they partially blamed the Democrats and the media for that. And so that kind of crazy energy, that was why they wanted they want the crazy to stop. The GOP wanted the crazy to stop, and if a crime has been committed, we will find it. But they wanted all this public crazy to stop. And so what Barr agreed to do was that the investigation would continue vigorously, but that he would shut down the public investigation. They would keep it open for obstruction of justice or bury it or whatever, because the investigation was still going on. The investigation was going on vigorously. And they came up with a public statement that would hopefully cool everybody down, right? Nope, nothing to see here. And then the investigation, all of that dark money, the real investigation continued on. It continued on under these existing investigations in the FBI. So the purpose of Barr was to keep everything on a lid, to continue to present as if there was nothing to see here, to try and get everybody to go back to work. But he did not feel his job was to obstruct justice. That is not what Barr is claiming his job was. His job was to simply let the FBI and the intelligence agencies do their job, and to try and get business back to normal. This is his version of the events. He doesn't feel that he's obstructing anything because so much of the investigation was private, involved international money laundering, etc. Now the private aspects of that investigation will start to become public, but they are not fans of the media, and they're not fans of the media, what he's calling the media circus, that caused all this crazy and emotionalism, and it wasn't fair to the country. Instead, he wanted people to be calm and just look at the data, and that he was going to be the calming force that was quote unquote going to land the plane. If this president needs to resign, his job was to help that happen, that transition smoothly. So that is code, land the plane. For him with Congress, it was an attempt to smooth things out. And so when the GOP were having a hard time with Barr, it was because we put you in there to stabilize the situation. And so Barr kept saying, I am stabilizing the situation. I am stabilizing the situation. So that was the whole dynamic. The Fool card is his first house. The second card is Ten of Cups. What is above him? The World card. What sits below him is business. I don't think he thinks he's going to get in trouble. I think that he feels that he was doing his job. I think he met with Murdoch because a friendly little conversation with Murdoch about the FBI probe into the fact that they were acting as a wing of um, a presidential candidate's election efforts. That's what the investigation is for the FBI, and that's why Barr had a friendly little conversation with Murdoch. It wasn't that he was taking Murdoch's side in order to fight against the United States. It was because there was a Justice Department follow-up. But there's more that's going to come out. More of the international aspects of the investigation are going to try to come out. He may choose to resign after the situation stabilizes a little bit, because there's a Seven of Swords moving in with a strife card. Something is going to come out. You can see the Sun card in his 8th house, the work in the 9th house, and the final outcome, exchange of ideas. Basically, Barr's going to start handing things over to Congress, and it's going to result in some kind of a shakeup. Five of Wands moving in. Exchange of ideas, education, not always a fight card when it's straight up, but basically I see him handing over more documents to Congress, which will result in more of this exchange. He's defensive, but he's going to try to hand over more information. It's a very difficult situation that Barr finds himself in. He's a Republican and a conservative who was put in by conservative Republicans to create a smoother, saner DC, and so he's being blamed for a lot of the crazy. Let's see how it works out, but I think Barr's going to probably be out of there by, if he stays, I'd be surprised with cards like this, but he thinks that a lot of this can be wrapped up by the spring, according to him. Whether or not that means the president will resign in the spring, I don't know. All right, so we got to Barr. We got to Pompeo. Pence is next. He doesn't feel he's delusional. People get mad at me as the remote viewer because I take on the argument of the person. My job is to take on the argument of the person. That's my whole gig. I'm not saying he's right or wrong. My job is to simply deliver his version of events, and he feels like just looking at the data, just collecting things, trying to be fair. People don't recognize their own bias. All right, Pence. What's going on with Mike Pence? Don't you love blitzes? We can get through so much stuff. What's going on with Mike Pence? I think he's being prepared to be the president. I think that there's a strong feeling that he will step in to that role. Strife and a new beginning. I think he could be the president by spring of 2020. I think he wore a wire, and I think he had immunity, and I think he's had immunity since he went in. I think that because he wore a wire and because he has immunity, anything he did while he was wearing a wire under immunity is going to be forgiven because of the arrangement he had with Rosenstein and the arrangement he had with Bob Mueller. You can see where he's at right now. There's the police or the feds, and victory, Ace of Swords. What is above him, trying to smooth the situation out, trying to go to a smooth road in the 4th house, and the 3rd house, defending his position. There's a lot people don't know that's going to start to come out. He's traveling. I believe he's in the Middle East. He's looking at the troops. There's grief in the near future for him, things he's going to have to let go of. Where he's at right now, returning to the old, or the peacekeeper, or the soulmate card. It's also a card of returning to the past, or trying to Honestly, with this, the fact that he's traveling, I think he's trying to reassure our allies with the Six of Cups in the 7th house. What is around him, all about stabilizing the economic stability, the hope and fear that they will be victorious. Ace of Wands in business. The Thief's card, attempts to flee, is the outcome. The truth is going to come out. Nancy Pelosi is continuing to investigate him. He was caught doing something he shouldn't have done, but the clarification is a Six of Pentacles, which could indicate that he's shown some mercy, or that I still see him serving. I still, this spring, summer, he could become the 46th president. But he will be hamstrung. He will not be able to do everything he wants. That's how I think it's most likely going to turn out. Okay, I was asked to do so I'm just telling you, the ability to put your own emotional reactions aside, for those of you who want to be readers or who are readers, those of you who are doing the heart-centered remote technique. What I feel doesn't really matter. I'm trying to get into the head of Pence or Pompeo. It's how they see the world. Barr, in his mind, he feels that he's just doing his job. He really believes that. All right, Mulvaney. Mulvaney. What's going to be with Mulvaney? What does Mulvaney do? Can somebody remind me? I'm sorry. Mulvaney. Chief of Staff. Okay. Thank you. I mean, things change so quickly around here. I have people unsubscribe all the time when I remote view because they think it's my opinion. People know my opinion. They tell me I preach. Try not to preach. Ugh, I just split on a tower. It's not good. He's working in some, I think there's a lot of travel involved here. A lot of people are traveling. He's got the Star card in his first house and an Ace of Swords. What is above him? Examination, frugality, trying to, peace offerings, new contracts. He could stay in. It's almost like he's not the one that gets to decide when he gets to leave. Somebody else is going to decide when he gets to leave. He's cooperating with certain people that have asked him to stay there, and he will leave when he's told he can leave. There's a feeling going into this energy that it's like he's sitting there and saying, can I leave now? Yes, you can leave now. So I don't see him going to jail. If he does go to jail, it's not coming up like that. It's coming up that he's being told to stay where he's at, not to leave. The investigation is going on. He may be questioned or be given an offer in the future because the outcome is Two of Cups with the Sun card coming up. But he may be able to, if he cooperates, he may be able to avoid jail time. All right, so we have done 54 minutes. I can go ahead and close. Who do I think is going to win for the 2020? The last time, the first time we remote viewed it 6 months ago, we saw Elizabeth Warren and Pete Buttigieg as the picks for the Democratic Party. I don't think that energetically things have changed since then. I'm going to do Brexit. Oh, you know what I want to do? I want to do the Canadian election before we end today. Let's do the Canadian election, and I heard things are getting really weird in Canada. Let's see how Trudeau is doing. And then after we do Trudeau, let me do a quick blitz on Trudeau, and then I want to do one quick on Brexit. Okay, let's do Trudeau. Did we not do Giuliani yet? Well, Giuliani's in serious trouble, but okay. What do you guys want to do? It's up to you. You want to do Giuliani, Trudeau, or Brexit? I'll let you guys decide. Actually, let's go ahead, because Michelle and Ona and Noel are. Let's let them decide what people want to do, because they are moderating on their own time, so we want to just honor them. Most people want Giuliani. What do the some people want Trudeau. Giuliani. Okay, so the moderators are asking that I do Giuliani first. So okay, so we'll do Giuliani and Brexit, and let's go as fast as we can so we can do everything. But people are mostly wanting to see Giuliani. What's going to be the future of Rudy Giuliani? Rudy Giuliani. This is becoming a long tape, so if you have to watch it in sections, I get it. Giuliani, where he is. He was doing great, but now he's on the three amigos, right? The three amigas, and 9 of Wands moving in. Defensive, chained to the devil. He's legally chained to the mob, I think. Yeah. This is his, I'll go ahead and let the professional readers interpret that. Not a happy relationship. It's time for a divorce. Wouldn't y'all agree? Relationship from hell. Time is running out. The 4th house, the 3rd house tower. He's in a crash. This is his 3rd house. This is his current relationship, probably with the mob and with Trump. And in the 4th house, karma. Dang. There's the investigation. It's over. It's over. He's making a deal. To be honest with you, Barr presents here as investigating him. That's why I'm saying they lost Barr. Chariot. Oh, he had two books. He was lying. His accounts were messed up. He had a separate income that he was lying about. The feds found his money. Hopes and fears, jail time, that he'll be ruined. He was involved in money laundering. They found him through the money. They found the money trail a long time ago. Yeah, it was about the money. He's going to have to make a deal, but he's probably going to jail. What happened, according to what I'm seeing in the remote, is that he had 2 types of books, and he started helping people get off that were in the mob, and then he became compromised, and just like Trump was compromised, and he had 2 books, and they were paying him, and the feds found the money trail first, and that's actually, yeah. So that's what happened with Giuliani, is that they were investigating him for fraud, money laundering, etc. And that investigation happened long before this investigation. So it had to do with the fact that he was compromised and he was taking money, and so he was under, that was part of why he was wired. So the feds were listening in on the phone calls with Giuliani for a while, because he was working with foreign nationals and was hiding money. That's what I saw. All right, let's do Trudeau now. Justin Trudeau, are you going to win? Or are the Conservatives going to win? It's an interesting response. Trudeau won't win if he doesn't get angry. That's what they're saying. If he continues to be a nice guy while he's being violently attacked, he'll look weak. So he has to become a lot stronger. Right now, it's like his campaign's been completely taken over. One of the things that appears to have happened, I don't know anything about this, I'm reading remote straight. What happened was that Justin Trudeau's campaign was hijacked by spies and people that were on the other side. That's basically what it looks like. And now there's fighting. So his campaign was invaded and sabotaged from within. So, you know, if you've got gremlins inside your campaign sabotaging and spreading information and giving it to the opposition, that's basically what happened to Trudeau. And he lost some people in his campaign, and there's some woman close to Trudeau that was helping him that may be leaving the campaign, or information was leaked about the campaign that could cost him the election. Yeah, it looks like there needs to be an investigation into stolen information and leaks from his campaign to the opposition's campaign. There were spies, which borders on criminal. They basically infiltrated his campaign. That's what it looks like. And by the time they figure it out, who knows if he'll already have lost. But that's what I see there. Okay, we're going to do one more, and it's going to be Brexit. And then we're going to be done. All right. What is going to be with Brexit? What is going to be with Brexit? What is going to be with Brexit? I mean, I think that the Conservatives in the United States are losing ground, and they appear to be losing ground in Canada as well, and so they resort to stealing elections, spies, sneaking into another person's campaign, stealing documents, pretending like you are pro-Trudeau, but meanwhile you're infiltrating. That's what it looked like. The only way Brexit can happen, if you look at the previous remotes, the energy really hasn't changed much, is if it's a soft Brexit. There's the economic cost, fighting, defending their territory. there's this feeling of pro-Brexit people where they want England to be more frugal, Four of Pentacles, spend more money on their own citizens, pull back, be frugal, all this. They feel like the EU, the way things are set up now, is not economically feasible for the people of Britain. They're not, many people still want Brexit, but they're angry about how it went about. There's a devil card in the 4th house because of a feeling that it couldn't happen, that they were promised that it would be smoother than it was. So there's a strong group of people that wanted Brexit, and it's not that they're opposed to Brexit, they're angry that it was as hard as it has become because they were told it would be easier. There is an opportunity for a light Brexit or a lighter, smoother ride in spring of 2020. You can see the spring card moving in, abundance. But I still see an open border. I don't see, the border is some aspect of the border will remain open. So we're looking at a possible contract or relationship with Europe and England that either there'll be no Brexit or a very soft Brexit. All right, everybody. Wow, that was fun. Sorry that we had problems with the computer today. I'll try and figure out what happened. If you're still trying to get in for tarot readings, I am free through tarotwithwhimsy.com. If you have WhatsApp and you're in a foreign country, that's not a problem. Just give me your foreign number and we will connect via WhatsApp. I'll call you or you can call me. All right, thanks for watching, everybody, and thanks for the support of buying Michael's t-shirts. I know people have already started to buy our True Love t-shirts, and that money will go towards our visas. All right, thanks a lot, everyone. Be well, and we will see you next time. Peace out. Thanks for the support, and thank you to the moderators for your help today. We really appreciate it. Bye.